say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
It's my fault, sorry.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayua Mesale and I'm joined by my amazing co-anchors. Uti Elu has joined us via Zoom. Isi is right here with me in studio, and we have an amazing guest co-anchor, Damilola Otubanjo, who is a creative CEO, creative director and CEO of Milola Group. Everything, please, can the camera zoom to her? Everything, let me explain from head to toe before she comes in. From the hair to the feet, everything is Milola. The dress is Milola, the skin is Milola, and the hair is Milola. Like the hair products that makes the hair glow. As well. Hi, Dami.
Hey, babe. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Well done. You're doing an amazing work.
Thank you. I had to, you know what, say, this market, we have to
market
and she's not wearing makeup. Can you imagine? Oppressing us. But how has today been for you, though?
Well,
I hear today traffic was quite light.
Yeah, it was pretty light. Very unusual to find the whole of Victoria Island a smooth ride.
It was a very smooth ride.
But prior to that time, I was in production, just doing my things.
I heard you when you were talking to all your. I don't like this design. I said, we have bought market. We brought a busy CEO, but it's really nice having you on set with us. Finally.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Finally.
I know, right? It's been a long time coming.
Yes. So, how are you, Uti Elu? Then I'll come to Isi.
Hi.
Hello, Uti.
How are you?
So tell us why you refused to come to the studio.
No, she doesn't.
Why do you want to put me on blast like this now? Why?
Uti, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Are you the one?
On behalf of
It's
Uti, you don't.
It's COVID-19 related.
You know, because people need to know. That's why I actually said so. Do you understand? Because it seems like when we talk about COVID, everybody say, is there still COVID and all of that? People actually need to know. You know, so
it's real, folks. So I mean, I don't have COVID. I'm waiting on test results, but yeah, COVID is real. So I had an exposure. Someone was in my house who then later tested positive. So I'm trying to keep us all safe.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being so considerate.
Yeah, she's very responsible. Hi, Isi.
Hi.
And you didn't want her to tell the people why she's not in the studio. How are you?
Talking about this present thing again today now, I'd have continued.
So how was your day though?
Oh, it was pretty light. I thank God that I've been able to make it here today, so we're ready to roll and go home.
Mine was, I actually started my day quite early because I had some meetings in Ikeja GRA, and you know, I now use the opportunity to see people that I've not seen in a very long time. Wow. I went to my children's formal school, so everybody, I said, now, wow, I've graduated from this level of school. This well. But it was an interesting day today.
Awesome.
I'm really tired. I need to go and sleep after this show. But today, you know, we started the conversation on Tuesday. The phone line is still buzzing till today, so we want to continue the concluding part on Flamboyance, right? Is it a show of affluence or a show or sign of poverty? And here's what we found as today's quote. And your influence does not define you, your behavior does. I mean, this quote is very short, it's simple. But Uti, I wanted to quickly hear your thoughts on this, on the quote. What do you think?
I mean, this is what it should be, right? It shouldn't define you. We really do want to put ourselves in a position where, I think that's sort of where we stopped the conversation actually on Tuesday, when we were talking about, you know, how the really, really, really affluent people, how most times you don't see it on them unless you're a connoisseur of, you know, the finer things, maybe their watches, you know, things that are very understated. Are what you tend to see with what would typically be referred to as old money. So there's that thing that has always been, and it's not even just the Nigerian thing, the fact that old money is quiet, whilst new money is more sort of flamboyant and loud, you know, that kind of thing. Exactly. So, I mean, totally agree with the quote that, I mean, it's your behavior, yes. Yeah, your behavior is what we really want to look at. And I mean, I know that, yes, like you said, phone lines have been buzzing. People have been saying, no, see what he has said since then. A lot of things, a lot of comebacks. That was a very passionate show for a lot of people.
It's a packed show today.
Yeah, so I'm excited to take on the conversation again.
Absolutely, you know, we're excited to have the CEO in our midst. All right, so it's our ladies' night out, and as we continue our conversation from Tuesday, we're asking if flamboyance is a show of affluence or a sign of poverty, as I mentioned earlier. So Uti, EC, our guest co-anchor Dami, and I will be discussing this. And when we open our phone lines, we would really love to hear what you have to say about this. But first, we'll take a break to see what we found in the news.
Okay.
All right, you're still watching Ways. Today is National Mango Day. You cut me on voice. In some part of the world, it's National Mango Day. So sweet fragrance and juicy mangoes add an abundance of flavor to beverages and meals. That's why on July 22nd, National Mango Day recognizes all the nutritious variety of this tropical fruit and what it brings to the table. So originating in Bangladesh and parts of Myanmar and India, hundreds of variety of mangoes grow around the world today. So, I mean, I am a mango lover, so when I saw it, I was very happy to take that. Even I saw many others, I just did not see this ones. But who is a mango lover here?
I love mangoes.
Hi.
I am.
You see, that's why I love
there are
you
different
people.
types of mangoes.
Which one? The cherry mango.
There is a cherry mango.
The kerosene mango. The
then there
big
is the
ones.
one that we call the German mango. The German mango is the one we locally call the sucking mango.
I don't like that
I don't like that one.
I love
cherry is my best.
I don't like cherry. I like the one that you cut and you can get the chunky part out.
Yeah,
I love that one. That's the big
seed
one.
is very flat.
Pretty much flat,
the
but
flesh
it has a
is
lot
quite
of flesh.
big.
Yes,
I love that
that's
one
my
too.
best one.
They brought it from Benue State for me last year.
Tasty.
Waiting for her this year. Uti, are you a mango lover?
Not really. I don't get this concept of the cherry mango, the soft, squishy. So I don't like sweet fruit. I don't like overly sweet fruit.
Okay.
I like sweets, I like chocolates. Those are the kind of sweets I like. When fruits are too sweet, it puts me off. And mango is the worst of them because it has a sickly smell. I'm somebody that likes texture, so soft and slippery and drippy. No. I don't mind the really big mangoes. I don't know what those ones are called. But I know so those ones that you can sort of slice and turn inside out.
Yes, that's the one that we said.
It's crunchy. I like that. I can eat that one. But
the crunch is also good.
Yeah, no, not really. It's not my thing.
So who are we starting with? Uti, let's quickly take your story. But we have a lot of stories to take.
Okay, so my story is on JAM. So we've always joked about post-UTME and it's jamming people. Well, in 2021, the headline reads, Mass Failure in 2021 UTME. We literally are seeing people now complaining about being jammed by JAM. So two different schools of thought. Some people are saying that this is just a ripple effect, the outcome of the poor state of our educational sector in Nigeria. And then the other side says, no, JAM, a lot of issues in the actual implementation of the exam. So right from questions being set outside of the syllabus to people going to test centers and there not being enough computers and then JAM not rescheduling them. So there's a whole bunch of things. But bottom line, people, the outcomes this year, students apparently struggled to even score 200. There was a lady who was saying how her daughters took JAM the last time, couldn't get admission, taking it again this time, and they, their scores were even lower this year. Not a lot lower, but clearly something is wrong. If all the stakeholders are up in arms, right, that something is wrong, then typically for me, there's no smoke without fire. So I really just think that whole post-UTM, we've heard about JAM having issues my entire life. If we keep complaining about something, it shouldn't be a deterrent. We want people to get into higher education, so it needs to work. People need to be able to get into university. So we really, that process needs to be streamlined, and it just needs to be easier.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll come to you, EC. What did you find for us in the news?
Yes, my story is a sad one. We had a mishap on the road, and you know, the state of our roads is not something we should, you know, call to question, but it's something that is, you know, we should also talk about. But also, we also have to, you know, take ourselves into cognizance and caution ourselves. This story says 13 killed as 25-passenger bus rams into a truck on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. 13 persons comprising of 4 males, 5 females, and 4 minors died on Wednesday. On Wednesday along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And this ugly incident actually happened at Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and this information was provided by the public relations officer, Babatunde Akimbiyi, who said that the incident actually happened as a result of the driver trying to, you know, overtake at the wrong side of the road. So, and this led to the demise of 9 people on the spot in the bus, and about 12 of them are currently in the hospital. So it is a sad one. We should also take into cognizance that whenever you are employing drivers, if it's a commercial bus, basically that has a transport system that is organized, they should also try to train the drivers. They should also.
These things, it's not like they do not know this. Trust me. It's just the culture that, you know, has come to stay. Sadly, even with the death, you know, even if the death, you know, it happens, they still go ahead to still do these things. So
and really it's also important that drivers, whoever is driving on the road, should take into cognizance other drivers and be careful that you're not just carrying yourself, you're carrying other families along with you. Now, about 9 families, they are gone, including children.
All right, so Dami, what did you find for us in the news?
Well, what I want to talk to us about is about this filmmaker, Biodun Stephen, who got badged in by some EFCC men, making her out to be someone they are trying to interview or something. And it was quite scary to know that you can be in your hotel room and people can just violate your privacy and badging on you, thinking that you are someone they're looking for without proper investigation or even taking the pain to go through the right authorities before coming for what is worth. She could be in any state, and they just, do you understand? And they just badging on her. And then what was more upsetting was what one of the guys said that, oh, where's the man in the room? I'm like, okay, a woman is not supposed to be by herself in a hotel room and just spend a good time and all those kind of stuff. It really, really is quite disturbing.
It was really worrisome because a lot of people, it sparked a lot of uproar on social media. Everybody is saying that, come on. Why would they even do that? Because imagine you are sleeping, you just see 2 men with gun. You open your eyes. Like, it was so scary.
But
I was going to say that there are some hotels, because I remember there was a night I wanted to stay in the particular hotel. Thankfully, my friend lived around that area. So I just asked her, I said, how is this hotel like? And she told me that, please, don't go there. That there are a lot of all these, what's it called? Online fraudsters there.
Whoa.
So those kind of hotels, it's possible that it's maybe this particular hotel is one because she's a filmmaker. You know, they can sleep anywhere. It is where the night meets them.
That's
where, because she was filming actually.
Yes.
So it's possible that would have been the case. But I'm just saying that as a woman or whoever, maybe man, woman, just do proper investigation before sleeping in any hotel. All right. So my story is actually interesting. Please, if they can find my video for me, I want to answer EC. Please play my video.
It is a go and bring the rich. People are confused about our ministry. I mean, and then some fellows said, you know, they are not bringing income. That's why they ask them to go. We ask you to go because you're unfruitful. Unfruitful, blatant failure. You know, doing what there? We have no patience with failure here. Amen. Now, when we employed 7,000 people at the time, social media was dead. Dead. We have more employees in this organization than most of the states. No one is owed a dime salary, and we don't borrow, we don't beg, ask our bank whether we take overdraft. We are covenant bond people, walking in the light of God's word, enjoying an open heaven. We have fully delivered the first phase of 1,000 plus buildings in the rural churches. None of those churches can generate that fund in the next 30 years. No. We are hunting after souls. Money, nonsense. Money, we've never lacked it, and yet we have never prayed for it. We are just simply obeying God, and He's backing up what He's asking us to do. Awesome God. Now the next set is about to be flagged off, just certifying the landed property issues. Nothing else. We have no lack of anything. The world is confused. Walking in the light of God's word. Please obey God to the full and watch out for His manifestations in your life. Can I hear your loudest amen? Can I hear your loudest amen? Well, you don't need so much mathematics to know 1,000 buildings, that is not 1,000 naira.
So, I mean, if you want to look for that video, it's trending. I wanted to answer my people because wait, let me finish.
Bring it on.
When I told you people on Friday, what was it I took the story? Was it on Monday? That
on Monday.
This conversation was not about money. It was more about the productivity of those pastors. Now, you, Minola, if you employ somebody in your organization, you are housing the person. You are the only assignment, job description that is that, okay, you know what, I want to see growth in my business, and you're not seeing that growth. Would you keep that person? Now, if you go further in that video, some of these churches, these rural churches, some of them cost as high as 35 million naira to erect. And they're not asking the pastors. Yes,
the pastor said that. I reckon you picked that from him.
Now they're not asking the pastors, pay us back the money. They are saying, you know what, grow your building. They're giving you free house, free everything. You're sitting down like, you're not doing anything. So my point is, and again, this is the part he said that I always say that we should be careful of social media. 7,000 people were employed in this same organization at a goal, at one sitting. 7,000 people were employed. Nobody made noise about it
until one person was fired.
Do you understand? We always try to sensationalize things on social media because that is the only way social media would catch fire. So everybody is now talking and talking and talking. But the man has answered you people.
I want to ask something,
yes.
Pastor get KPI?
Yes, now you don't know before.
How they are measure failure? By the number of bombs in seats or the growth of tithes? I just asked for clarity, so I really haven't followed this.
How they would measure growth? How they will measure growth is that the number of souls that come to Christ and start to serve, and actively are participating in church activity. That's how they measure growth. I've told you people we'll make this a hot topic.
I think you're making a church about business and not about the salvation of people. I think we hold different opinion about this conversation.
Uti?
I think I'm with you there because I want to understand now. So are they to go on the streets and drag people off the streets? Are they to do street storms like banks? Like, I just want to understand.
Thank you. Uti, they do storming. Have you not
you paying salaries, right? I understand you paying salaries and saying that you want some return on your salary.
Results,
but
yes.
I just need to understand, because look, I don't know where these churches are situated. I don't know the size of the villages. I don't know how remote they are.
They are remote villages.
Is that the congregation have to get to those locations?
I must talk. I must respond.
Like I said, I'm asking because I genuinely don't know. I understand that if you're paying somebody a salary, you must have some expectations. But again, when you are going to put a site somewhere, typically there are surveys that are done, you look at it, you look at the population, you can't give me something and then tomorrow you say you're not yielding fruit, come and be going. Like I said, I'm just asking this question so that it's a robust conversation. I didn't see anything in the video, and I'm not saying that he would come and give a breakdown on the altar. and social media naturally will be agog in any organization, church or not. If this happened, that would be the case.
Well, why were they not agog when he employed 7,000 people?
I have an opinion.
When Judas betrayed Jesus, did Jesus disown him? No. Aside from that, when Peter did the same thing, did Jesus disown him? No. Aside from that, let's look at it. Let's just oppose it to the fig tree. Let's just oppose it to the fig tree.
When it was not producing fruit, it was cursed and it dried up.
Jesus said, "You cut it." But in this case, God, this is about salvation.
What's the difference? You are the one that brought it to it.
I juxtaposed it. I juxtaposed it. There are two things. I am on one side.
It's not about salvation. It's about service. But let me hear. Dami has been easy to talk. Look at me.
It's about winning of souls.
Let her talk.
What I think is first, the guy coming out on social media to do what he did was unnecessary. It was just to get attention, which the pastor, the pastor that was sacked. Whatever times of engagement ensued between him and the church is something that is probably private and should not be made public. But that being said, we cannot. Are we doing church for church or are we doing church for business? We have to look at it from that angle. For me, a pastor can be fired for lack of performance, but it shouldn't be about how much of funding or finance, because what the pastor said, what the pastor said is not performing. We do not have the details as to what level of performance they are basing his retrenchment or his disengagement on.
This topic must come.
Do you understand? So I think that
we've eaten into our time. It's okay. It's okay. Church growth is church growth. If you had 500 members, you are expected to have 300, maybe extra. Not that they give you 100. There was a church, they handed them 100 members and it returned 20 back. We'll take a break. That's not our conversation today. We've eaten our time. We'll see you after the break. Thanks for staying with us now. An affluent person is someone having an abundance of wealth, property, or other material goods. Prosperous, the person is rich. An affluent is an affluent person. And someone that is abounding in everything and anything, you know, the person has everything to play with, you know. So I took the liberty to ask Google, how do I tell if someone is affluent? And here's the response that I got. Seriously, the rich tend to be more humble and hardly boast of their wealth. In fact, most of them would refuse to admit that they are rich and carry regular bags everywhere they go. Those phony rich ones, which are the ones that we're talking about, usually chatter away about their bag collections or their cars or anything really, you know, in their lives. They just boast about and brag about everything. So next time someone boasts about his wealth, you might want to take it with a pinch of salt. That is according to Google. So not to say, now this is not to say that everyone that shows off isn't truly wealthy. That's not our conversation. But if our question tonight is, if flamboyance, you know, is a sign of affluence or is just a poor person struggling to let the world know that I have made some money, because that's practically what it is. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. I was going to bring something, but I don't want to cause trouble. But you have to give it to the man. He knows how to brag about how the achievements of the church and everything. But Uti, let me come to you first. Don't bring that.
I don't even know where you want me to start this conversation now, because Like I was saying before, old money, new money, right? Does talking about your wealth, is it you trying to prove that you have it? You know, you get to the stage where you have so much money, there's no point talking about it anymore. It's cavalier, like it's your everyday. It's like talking about your name or talking about yourself. But really and truly, that distinction has always been there, where people who have grown up in immense affluence, it's their everyday life, it's the norm for them. So there's no point talking about it. Where you are going on about luxury goods and the rest, somebody who has grown up their entire lives with it are probably wondering, why is this the topic of discussion? But we talked very much on Tuesday about culture and the role that it plays. And unfortunately, in this part of the world, in our country today, the show of wealth is such an immense part of our culture. There's really no other way to explain it, you know? So the things that we aspire to are the things that we see around us and the things that people have placed respect on. So I can't blame people sometimes. There's the excessive part. But there's the joke that we always say that, you know, the car you're driving depends on whether someone's going to open up the gate or come over to, first of all, ask you who you're looking for. These are realities. You talked about the story about the lady in the hotel. We've seen stories of people going to restaurants and not being allowed in. All these things are a real part of life in Lagos. Let me say Lagos. A real part of life here. So if I want to play devil's advocate, I say I can see how this is a self-perpetrating evil. Because you have one bad experience, you think, man, I'm going to blow. The day I do, everybody's in trouble. And then when I say that, let me then swing back and use that to segue into popular culture. Half of our songs today are about how you will blow, how you will hammer, how you are the owner of the babalo. I mean, and there's all sorts that speaks to money, to how you will spend it. Watch half of our music videos, maybe 70% of our music videos. I don't watch them, so I don't know, don't quote me. But what you see is people living large, people popping champagne, people spraying money. It's what it is. Now we have to swing around and say, what are the negative connotations of that? Because, I mean, the thing that sparked this conversation on Tuesday was when they now took it to the next level. And they took it to the extreme. Yes. And you start to see, no, now this is getting to the point of
the Obikwano story. You know what? Let me come to Dami, because the Obikwano story actually is still very much hot in the market. It's not going anytime soon. And I think the guy is also riding on the popularity of the event that happened in Oba, and he's now doing a lot of interviews and all of that. So does this show that this guy, you know, has affluence, or maybe is, you know, because I feel like, I mean, like Uti said, if you grew up in wealth, it's just like the Prince of England now, or the Queen or something, you are in royalty. Would you really struggle to show people that you are the princess, you're the queen, you're the this? You would not. But let me hear your thoughts, Dami, on this.
Yeah, well, what I think is money makes you more of what you already have, and money only reveals you to you. A lot of people do not even know who they are until they have money. And they're sometimes shocked at their revelation of themselves and how they handle wealth and how they deal around money. Now, let's go back to the basics. Let's not compare apple with oranges. We're Nigerian and we're Nigerians. And it would be okay to say the wealthy people in developed countries do not show off. In this part of the culture where there's poverty of the mind, and people are constantly struggling to overcome that sense of inadequacy, they have to keep reinforcing that they are fighting against poverty by showing flamboyancy. It goes beyond, I don't want to judge anybody. I don't want to be a judge of anybody or assassinate anybody's character. If you listen to that man, I listened to some of his interviews, he said something that worked. He said this is his showbiz. It's deliberate and it's intentional. Before now, I went to his page on that Friday when he was having the burial, and he had about 600 followers. Flip back 5 days afterwards, he has 1.3 million followers.
And you have verified him.
Exactly. And you realize that whether you realize it or not is leveraging. Leveraging popularity, he has worked without a doubt. Do not ever scorn people that have money. It's easier for us to judge and criticize. It takes only effort to retain wealth. And the level of love he experienced, based on my own observation, it goes to show the kind of heart that he has. You can become rich, but can you sustain wealth?
Well, that means, so all these conversations that you're saying, it's not really what we are even saying about.
We're talking about flamboyance.
I'm saying that, okay, so now you hit the nail on the head when you said showbiz, when you said, okay, from 600 followers, now he has about 1.2, he's been verified on Instagram and all of that. Maybe that is the goal of this, because, you know, if I make, you know, this kind of fake it till you make it. If I make a lot of noise, if I make a lot of whatever, then of course there would be some level of recognition. But we should be able to draw the line, because if I am truly wealthy beyond, like, you know, like the kind of money that they were showing and spraying in that kind of place, I don't need to show anybody that I'm doing it.
Yes.
That party can go on silently and no video will come out. You understand? Because I do not need to prove to anybody. So it means that, does this mean now that there is an undertone for which this was done in a flamboyant manner? But let me hear your thoughts, Issy, then I'll come back.
Well, to me, I think basically what he has done, wealth is relative. Like I said earlier, wealth is relative. It depends on the state of the mind of the individual, and it's also based on the orientation of the individual. So, do we have the culture of, you know, expressing yourself when you have money? Yes, we do. Do we have the culture of not expressing yourself when you have money? Yes, we do. It has to do with the education, the exposure, and the mindset or the mind shift of the individual. So it's not about whether you have money or you don't have money. It's how you choose to be perceived, whether you have money or you don't have money.
Okay, that's it, Bob. You know, there's a quote, I don't know who said that, but I was trying to find the author. It says, you are so rich, I mean, you're so poor, rather than all you have is money.
Money.
Do you understand? And I mean, that is a typical Nigerian story.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Do you understand? And a lot of us, and this is not even just about these people, a lot of us are actually always struggling. That is why we want to buy the big SUVs. That is why we want to buy diamond rings. That is why we want to flaunt, you know, and all of that. Because there is a constant thing probably at the back of our mind that says, you know what, I must tell people that I have overcome this. Yes, I've overcome these challenges. Yes, I've overcome poverty and I have become this person. Right?
It's a programming. A lot of us are running programming consciously and unconsciously.
Yeah.
There's so much going on with us that we're not even aware. We're running a script subconsciously. In a system where there's so much scarcity and poverty, trust me, anyone that has the money would show it off. Now, depending on your personality, your temperament is what determines to how far you are flamboyant. Some people would show off without necessarily making it loud, while some people go all the way in. And let's look at the type of people. We're not trying to be tribalistic, but our brothers are known to be just like they show up to be. So you have to understand, where is this coming from? It has to do a lot with our state of mind, where we constantly need to reinforce and remind ourselves. Fear of poverty is actually what makes people be excessive. There was too much to that show, in my own opinion, and I think that it has to do with, one, I do not think he planned it. Really, it just happened to be that other people needed to come and prove a point to themselves, and they found themselves a worthy gathering, and they lapped it up, and that was exactly what played out. Now the guy found the wave and he decided to go with the wave, and you really can't blame him for doing that. He has PR people that are managing a lot of all these things. You can tell between the two personality of the Cubanas, which is naturally a flamboyant person, because I watched this guy quite closely. He didn't appear to be a very flamboyant person until he started to get the wave of the moment, and that's what I think. That's it.
Well, to me, basically, another thing you talked about was the fact that what they did during the funeral was too much. I agree, but it still has to do with the people that had that. There are rich able people who actually come out there to do funerals, and you don't see such lavishness, you know, being displayed. But the set of people he actually interacts with are supposed to be in the show business.
Yeah,
and what's
so
show business all about? Show business is
about showing,
show off, making more than what it really is, so that you can
not even
sustain
making more than what it really is. Basically, the people that actually came, in quote, said they were what they actually presented.
No,
so,
but that's show business. Show business is make-believe.
Yes,
it's not the real reality.
Yes,
you know what? I'm going to come to Uti, but I think we are just very due for just our quick break, you know, because we also want to open the phone lines. When we come back from the break, I'll hear from Uti, then we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Now, if you're just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we are asking, how do we show affluence, right? Is it by flamboyance, or we should just be very, you know, bougie about it? So please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is now open. You can call us on 070-2500-7749. The number is 070-2500-7749. And remember, please, when you do call, turn off the volume of your television set. And also try to keep the conversation short so we can take in as many calls as possible. Uti, before we went on a break, I said I was going to come to you, right? How do we even begin to correct this thing? Because now this culture, or whatever it is that we want to call it, has eaten deep into our very subconscious. Even the normal people. I'm not saying the people in show business. Regular people, your 9 to 5 fivers that maybe in the bank workers, then they will go and make sure that the suits that they are wearing, I mean, so these things play out
everywhere.
In different.
It's all about perception.
Yes, in different. It's just that there is a level. It's just that these people's the Obikwano.
There are levels to these things.
They just took it to the whole new level. But this culture of wanting to prove to people that I am here, I have arrived, and all of that is embedded in a lot of us. I remember quickly, because why I mentioned bank, a bank manager once told me that the reason they gave a loan to someone that walked into the bank was because when the guy parked his car, the bank manager had already sighted him from his glass window. He was parking a Mercedes, so they didn't have to have a conversation. So whether these guys
evaluates whether it's
right
credit
or not, they just assume the perception is actually helping people. You know? Oh, okay. So we have Gaffar from Gombe. Let's take him first. He's our first caller for the evening. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Good evening, ladies.
Hi.
Yeah, I must commend your efforts. All this program is very enlightening.
Thank you.
To you guys.
Thank you.
Quickly, you see, this issue, I think we've overflowed this issue for long now, you know. My brother will always tell me that nobody will tell you, nobody will ask the source of your poverty, but once you start making noise here, then they will tell you that what is the source of your affluence, you know. Be as it may, there are so many we have so many people that are blessed with influence and affluence in this country, the Dangotes, even the likes of the late Abiola. They are not flamboyant, they are philanthropic and source of reaching out to people speaks for them, the wealth, and be as it may, you cannot really tell people how to spend their money. This Cubana history, this Cubana, it is the chief priest that is very, very flamboyant. Even with not seeing him so much in the media, flaunting his wealth here and there. But I think we should leave people to decide how they
Thank
spend
you.
their money.
Absolutely. Gaffar, that one, we had already concluded that on Tuesday, that we are allowing him to spend his money the way he wants to spend his money. But the conversation for tonight really is about, you know what, why do we need to do this flamboyance, you know, because we are trying to deal with we are trying to fight this poverty mindset that always feels the need to want to show off, you know. But thank you so much for your call. Let me come to you, Uti.
So you were asking about solutions before the call came in. I'm stumped because first of all, you have immense poverty. You have people clawing, hand, tooth and nail, illegality, the legal way. Everybody is trying to get rich. We're not even shooting for, I want to be okay anymore. Nobody is shooting for, I just want to earn enough money for me and my family to be okay. Everybody is aiming for Banana Island, Range Rover. That's where everybody's going. So when you even talk about it, we've talked so many times about mindset. How are we going to get people to come back to say, you know what? That Camry that I'm driving gets me from point A to B is A-okay. It will be hard, because we need to get people to start valuing people again, not valuing the material. Because that's where we are now. We judge people based on what they wear, what they drive, where they live. All those things are based on how we judge people. So how do we start to change the mindset? This question almost feels like when you ask those questions about, so how do we turn Nigeria around?
You know what, let me take Celeste. Celeste from
I don't have the answer to that question.
Absolutely.
But, you know, as I always say, if you want to change anything, one of the key places to start is in the home. You've got to start to teach your children the value of money.
Uti, give me a minute. Let me take Celestine and I'll come back to you. Are you there? Thank you for calling.
Yes, good evening to the lady.
Hi, Celestine.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to react to those Obikwano's and story.
We shouldn't have mentioned his name. Go ahead, quickly, Celestine.
Okay, so what I wanted to say about him is that we have an Owambe culture in Nigeria where you find people praying at parties, even in Lagos Island. And in Lagos generally, when people go to parties, you find them spraying currencies and all of that. So we already have that. So I don't think what they did, you know, back was out of place. Like someone said that it wasn't really planned. You know, reading about him and researching about him, he said that, you know, he had helped so many of his friends. And when they now became very wealthy, most of them decided to come to show him love because he had supported them, you know, while growing. And if you see what he said during the interview he had, he said he did not, you know, start out as a millionaire. He started doing some.
Thank you, Celeste. I think we've all seen that video.
The difference between him. Hello?
Thank you, Celeste. We've seen that video. Thank you so much for your call. Because I don't want us to dwell too much on him, because of course this is also part of the dwelling. What we want to focus on tonight is the mindset, right?
How
do we keep on with the flow of flamboyance? Or should we drop that culture? Dami, let me come to you, then I'll come to Isi.
Well, what I think about that is we cannot sit here and decide what people should do. We need to be the change we want to see. And many a time, some of what we think and what we desire is not as easy. We're talking about deep-seated habits. The habit you create has a life of its own. It has a strong goal. That's why people struggle to break habit. You find yourself in a situation where you're trying to either try to wake up early and you persistently wake up late. It tells you that some of these things are really outside of your control. And how do you then change it? It is not something you just wish away. It takes years, practice, consistency, and it's not something that we can hand out to each other and just share as a pamphlet. Oh, let's all agree and let's be less flamboyant. It doesn't work like that. There's a foundational problem. It runs way deeper to the way, Uti said something about it start from the home, but beyond and above that, it starts with us. How do we interact with social behavior? A lot of the time, even in school, we find ourselves being oppressed. And we carry, and we carry that sense of inadequacy through our workplace, through our businesses, and we're constantly trying to prove a point and trying to live by particular standards. We have to, I'm afraid, I don't have...
You don't have a solution?
I don't have a script because really there are no manuals to life. We only act in the best of our ability based on the environment and where we find ourselves. One of the things I identified about our country is our national karma is very negative. And we share that energy. And that's what manifests in our space. You see, people are critical of one another. When there's some case going on social media, they attack one another and judge them very badly. People do not have joy. They are frustrated. They are miserable. You can literally tell from the comments. When you read some people's comments, like, why do you have so much bitterness inside of you? And it goes beyond just that content. It's a function of bottled emotions repeatedly over the years. You drive on the road, you see people perpetrating all sort of evil behavior, and you wonder, is there hope for this country?
Let me take Femi.
I really worry about
Femi,
our country.
Is there hope for this country? Femi, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Thank you for calling. Sorry for keeping you.
No problem. Good evening.
Hi. Thank you for calling.
I just want to make a small contribution. I don't think it's poverty that makes people to be flamboyant. It's more of an inferiority complex that has built up over years. So that when you get there, you like to cover it up with whatever you have achieved. Just like somebody, people who are maybe a woman who have been oppressed because she didn't give back on time. When she's eventually put to bed, of course, you can flaunt those children around, and so that people that have been looking down at you.
I know I have children.
So the same thing, even if you have come from a poor background and you have self-esteem, you won't show it off when you are there. But no matter how rich you are, if you have an inferiority complex, you will still keep fighting. You keep trying to go ahead, try to show off and be flamboyant. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Issy. Let me come to you.
Well, I've heard Uti's take. I've heard.
Do you think there's a solution?
There is a solution.
Okay, so where's that?
You know, we can start with changing the narrative based on storytelling. We will go through this with online. We go through this in the stories we tell in our videos, the stories we tell in our home videos, the scripts we give out. We need to change that narrative. And how do we change the narratives? Yes, it might seem difficult, but that is the first step. Because there was something somebody said a while back. He said that in the American culture, what they did is that they infused kindness into their teaching, and that's why whenever they see somebody in distress, what do? They all come out of their cars to find out how they can help.
Okay, so you see this narrative you just said now. This is where I think the solution starts from.
Yes.
Okay.
It starts from the media. Over the years, when I was coming to Lagos, coming to, in Kaduna, it's easy for you to just help the next person. But here, I now started hearing stories that somebody helped somebody on Lagos Ibadan Expressway. The next thing, they captured you and became maybe they used your child for ritual, or you were robbed or something. That is one narrative. Then even in the movies that we have, a lot of us living in bondage, most of those movies, and that is what shaped all of us.
Our mindset.
So it's even difficult when you see somebody that has affluent that you cannot see. If you see a fine girl like Damina, she's the Ron's girl, or she has one Zazie somewhere. Then if you see a guy that is making money, it's either a Yahoo boy, it's Yahoo, or it's a ritualist. No, it's a ritualist. That is the narrative. So, and it is bad. It is so deeply ingrained in all of us that most times we cannot even see see beyond that lens. But let me take Daniel, I believe. Thank you for calling.
Hello?
Daniel, are you there? Let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, please. We can hear you. You're live.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Daniel.
Okay, good evening.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, if you say
It is an affluent, I will agree. It is an affluent, and it's also a pride. Now, for instance, how many millions of people are in Nigeria, for instance? Let's take it as a particular example. Now, like one of your members there said, we are all running the race to become wealthy. Now, out of this million, few people become successful. So it's a question of pride. So you want to show. It is in human nature. And even in the Bible, you can see. So the show of affluence, the show of success, is not something that has started today. It's something that has been along in human nature.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you so much. So
Yes,
this is
thank you.
Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, because this is what he's saying. Even in Nollywood, you first of all see somebody poor in the village, struggling, going to the farm and everything. The first thing that happens when he hammers, right? He brings an SUV into the village and he begins to. That is the. So I'm trying to tell you that the problem. If we really want to fight this thing, everybody is all hands on deck. I like Uti's part of family. I like Dami's angle where you talked about.
The fact that it's deeply ingrained in our
subconscious.
Yeah.
So if all of us now put our hands together to say, you know what, how can we fight this? The media is fighting it, the music videos are fighting it, all of those things, perhaps we might find a solution. Let me take Uti.
Fight it.
Exactly, that was the question I was going to ask.
Like
do people want to change anything? Do they say anything wrong?
Change that narrative. They don't want to change the narrative. I haven't waited for 20 years to make money. Do you remember when you were in secondary school and you were waiting till you got to SS1 or SS2 to be senior so that you too could flex? Let's be clear. No fine waiting, no loss.
Okay, well, somebody from Delta, I think Austin, he says, I am an ardent fan of your station because you speak truth to power. I agree with you on Oyedepo, but please, make una leave religion and faith because there will always be a sharp disagreement. On the topic today, wealth for me is accomplishment. Why should we focus on quantum of cash? Rewind the mind shift lessons that we talked about on Monday. People like Wole Soyinka, Ngozi Iweala, do they flaunt their intellectual property? Draw the line. Flaunting wealth is invitation for recognition and poverty of the mind. So it is that showbiz, invitation for people to know that I am here.
Arrived.
That is it. But I think we have a call. Our last call for today. Thank you, Austin, for calling. Then we'll wrap up. From Benin. Woye.
Your brother is on the show.
Austin, are you there?
Yeah, good evening.
Woye.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for calling.
Well done. Okay. It's a very good topic, and my contribution goes like this. I think the money, first of all, money has taken the center stage in our life in Nigeria. It has gotten to a situation where now we worship money. The love for money has taken a different dimension. And then an average Nigerian has this attitude of, I wouldn't know whether it has to do with poverty or whatever, but an average Nigerian has this show-off attitude. It's just like what our former president said. He said, wherever you see a Nigerian in the world, you must know that this is a Nigeria. We have that thing in us. It's just there in us.
Thank you.
We want to always show off.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the one I have noticed. A lady buys a new car. She must drive around her friends to show her friends that she has bought a brand new car.
No, she only needs
it's not only lady. It's not only lady. Both man and woman. But thank you, Austin.
So she must drive around to see all her friends. Now, I don't even know whether there's any solution to this anymore. So I don't know, but
okay. Let's take comments. Thank you so much, Austin. Comments quickly, then I'll get your final thoughts. Uti, your comments.
Okay, so my comment says, good evening, ladies. When you have money, people will vent on it, but during your gathering or struggling period, nobody sees you. My advice is God blesses you to be a blessing to others. Money is a defense, while a lack of it is an offense. Just spend your money, take care of yourself, be a blessing to others, and ignore people's gossips.
Okay, Isi.
Can I get my final thought
wait,
now?
You won't take your final thought. Hold on first. Uti, Isi.
Okay, there's no name here, but it says, okay, Raffle, it says, we need to encourage the culture of modesty and humility in our society.
That's what we are saying.
That is by changing the storytelling. It's so important.
The narrative.
Did you see how people attack?
So that's what I'm saying, that the storytelling you're talking about,
yes.
Isi, it goes into the music videos, goes into the film, goes to education.
Change is not something people embrace very easily. Do they want to change?
We start from somewhere. Change is never easy, but you have to start from somewhere. I talked about something on Monday when we talked about mind shift. I said, what if we start training a set of 8-year-olds, a set of 5-year-olds, a set of 3-year-olds. Their mindset, when they grow up, they won't think the same way others are thinking. And that is a total shift in that we're actually looking for in that generation.
Okay.
I think
let me hear your thoughts.
I agree with your idea of we need to make effort, and we really need to make effort. We're sitting on a keg of a gunpowder in this country. But the fear that I have is...
Before then?
It's really not that simple. Change is not something people embrace very easily. Even look at your life. How many areas of your struggles are you able to actually work on consistently? And now when you see how people attack anyone who speaks against this guy's wealth, you realize that everybody wants to be Obikwano. People are, you're going to see a school in March somewhere and they're going to call it Obikwano Nursery and Primary School. Trust me, because you realize that that is what people celebrate. They want a situation where, and you don't blame them.
We didn't get
it goes
by mistake.
Down
we started
through.
From this,
we did, but
somewhere.
Trust me, it's going to take years
to fix
it.
Okay,
but we need to still make efforts.
To take years to fix. We didn't get here in one day.
We need to be, first of all, willing to change.
I'm totally optimistic.
We need to take Uti's final comments.
Yes.
Uti, quickly.
Stop being optimistic. I totally agree with them. Like, people don't want to change. The only change people want is to enter that bracket where they can do the exact same thing. We haven't been able to change corruption. We haven't been able to change all those different things. It's not going to be this one. This one is too sweet. Those children you're talking about, is 3, 5, and 8. Those are the same parents who, when it's time to throw birthday, they tell you just bring cake. You will see cake, you see party packs, you will see all sorts. It is alive and well. We will have situations like this where people see these kinds of shows, like elaborate show of wealth, and they shout. And just like everything else in Nigeria, in 5 minutes, nobody will remember, we'll move on. So the fact is, this thing, there was a caller on Tuesday who said this thing happens on the regular, 1-year-old birthday, and it does for these people. This is just the one that has made it out into social media and brought it to the fore. What I would just say is we can't tell people how to spend their money. You've worked hard for it, you spent it. But again, let's just be mindful. We are living in the world of social media, we're living in the world of technology. You know that you have these types of friends, because I saw that part of his video and I said, look, there are people who, when they want to have events, they say, you know what, guys, don't bring us any gifts. If you want to go and donate money to this, go and do that. Maybe people need to start doing that. But it's not going to change. It's not going to change. People are going to continue doing it. At best, you may not see it, but it will continue happening.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
No, we cannot talk. He's run out of time. I cannot bring another part again. We have finished this conversation.
It's done.
We have finished it. The topic you talked about is you say you want us to talk about church business. That one, we'll go and find the pastor. I'll bring him for you.
I will not be there.
Thank you, Damilola.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Isi. Thank you, Uti. We had a fantastic conversation. But please, we're just asking that, yes, it might be tough, but this narrative has to change for us to go far in this country and for us to see a better country. This narrative of I must show that I have money, it has to stop. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we're planning a huge giveaway just to say thank you to you for watching Ways and believing in the brand. So do well to follow us on Instagram. Follow us now. It's at PlusTvAfrica. Like, share, and invite your friends and family to watch and follow us as well. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. And your affluence does not define you. your behavior does. This is simple. So if it is in you, I remember what Dami said with the opening. He said, if money only reveals, Abi. So it's not so much of the money. It is who you are that we're seeing. So we'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Bye.